The topic that we are studying in this particular discussion pertains largely to decision support system, and later I wanted to extend it to expert systems. Before I begin, I want to clarify a few things. One is that there is no standard terminology when we discuss these issues. What I call personally as expert systems and what is generally described as expert system. If you see Reinhart, Turkman and Porter textbook, you will find the name executive information systems. Whatever I consider as expert systems, Reinhart, Turkman and Porter call them as executive information systems. For them, expert system is a specific kind of information system specializing in artificial intelligence. Those systems, they call it as expert systems. So I want you to be clear about this fact that when I say expert system, you have to correlate it to executive information system of Reinhart, Turkman and Porter. To be very frank, if you ask me, take a system and say whether this is DSS or ES or MIS, we can't say that. Any system can be MIS or DSS and ES at the same time. How do we distinguish? We distinguish them by the capabilities they have. We say that any system can be considered as MIS if it has the capability of doing certain kinds of reporting. Then when do we call it as decision support systems? If the same system Rangoli pattern. So any system which helps you consolidate the data and generate reports is MIS. Any system which helps you to take the same data and helps you to perform three basic analytical activities which we discussed: sensitivity, what if, and goal seeking. That system we will call it as decision support. Mainly I think we have seen the process of decision making and how to automate. To recollect, we said the decision making process is not that very specific, but nevertheless we can draw a process diagram. The step number one is detailed understanding of the problem and formulating the problem statement, what you have to actually do. That is the problem statement, step number one. Then I said that you have to populate the solution space. That is, you have to populate the solution space. You have to define n number of solutions. Populate the solution space, and among the competing solution, select one solution, solution I, and then implement that solution. This is the basic decision making process. We have to automate this process. How to automate this process? Understanding a problem statement, writing a problem statement, okay, we can automate it somewhere. Given various solutions, how do we identify one solution? General scenario. One basic scenario is there. See which solution works, which solution does not work. Keep out those solutions which do not work. Select the solution which works. Simple thing. This is the simplest way. But is it that simple? No. Why? Why? Because all the solutions will be equally good. See, if the choice is between one solution which works, one solution which does not, black and white, then selection is very simple. Recall your ethics classes. When you have to select one and one works, one is good, other is bad, should you kill a person or not? Simple question to answer. But why is the problem? The problem becomes complicated when you have competing solutions which are equally good. That is the problem. So it's not black and white. Everything works. Now which one will you select? So first selection mechanism is which works, which does not work. If it is applicable, fine. If all of the solutions work, then how do we select? What are simple ways of selecting solutions?
One solution possible is select one and stick to it. One is possible idea when very good solutions are there is make a decision and stick to it without changing anything.
Toss a coin. Will you do it? You go to Swayamvar. Are you 21? We can discuss, but anyway, it's not Okay, the point is simple. When there are competing solutions, we should know how to select a solution. How do you usually select?
Prioritize our requirements, which solution gives.
Exactly. There is one step which you missed in this whole diagram. That is radio. We have missed one crucial step in our discussion. Actually, before we build solutions, we will fix the criteria which our solution should satisfy. We do that every time. Problem is, if there is one criteria, then the choice becomes simple. Does this solution satisfy this criteria? Does this solution? We can select cross-check and select the solution. What is the problem? Problem is there can be multiple criteria. There can be multiple criteria which you want to satisfy. When I want to buy a pair of jeans, I have multiple criteria. So something which fits most of them I want to select. This is the problem. So now how do we do it? There are multiple criteria, multiple solutions. How do we select one solution? What are some simple methods? Traceability matrix, maximum trace. Next, cost benefit analysis. For every solution, what is the benefit which you derive, what is the cost involved? Because at the end of the day, please remember we are discussing decision support systems which helps managers to take decision. At the end of the day, manager should answer only one question to his seniors. When he takes the decision, he will require some resource to implement that solution. After he implements that solution, some benefit should come out. Top level leaders want answer to only one question. What is your productivity? That if this was investment done on you, this is the benefit you have given. What is the productivity? Have you improved it or not? Is the basic question. Forget about all this. Therefore, cost benefit analysis can be one way of doing this. For every solution, identify the cost, identify the benefit, that do. And that's not as simple. Again, go back. Look at utilitarian theory. What did utilitarian theory say? It's actually a cost benefit matrix. Utilitarian theory. Maximum good to maximum people. Then you know how to counter argue it and how to arrive at a much more balanced state. Correct? So, cost benefit analysis is not just numbers. They go beyond them. Because usually in software, quantifying the benefits is not simple. Cost you can quantify. If you have to implement this software, this many machines are required, this many people are required, this is the salary you have to pay, you can quantify the cost. But how will you quantify the benefit? That is difficult. Therefore, it's not that simple, but still, we have to do something like that. Cost benefit analysis. What else is there? Something are we missing something in this criteria? Prioritize and all we can do. Of course, if there are more criteria, then we can prioritize it. This criteria is more important than this. Something more is there. Okay, let me explain in this two example. If they want to select a boy, criteria ಎರಡು ತರ ಹಾಕು. ಏನು? Tall, dark, handsome. ನಾವು ಇನ್ನೆಲ್ಲಿ tall ಇಲ್ಲ, dark ಇಲ್ಲ, handsome. ನಮಗೆ ಹುಡುಗಿನೇ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. Tall, dark, handsome. At least ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ ಒಂದು ಮನೆನಾ. This is one set of criteria. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು set of criteria. ಸಿಗರೇಟ್ ಸೇದಬಾರದು, ಕುಡಿಬಾರದು, ಅದು ಮಾಡಬಾರದು. So, ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೂ ಆ ಥರ ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದೇನಪ್ಪ. ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯ. Point is very simple. Among the criteria, there will be positive criteria and negative criteria. Now, what you want to do is, you have to maximize them and minimize them. Cigarettes are okay, dinakku ಒಂದು ಎರಡು ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Positive you want to maximize, negative you want to minimize. This is actually not that light issue, very important issue in economics. In fact, John Nash won the Nobel Prize for giving the solution to this problem. It's called Nash equilibrium. Game theory, it's called Nash equilibrium. Nash equilibrium is min-max. A equilibrium state for a min-max problem in a multiplayer tournament. When multiple players are okay. Classical example, prisoner's dilemma. Have you played prisoner's dilemma?
Yes, sir.
Very interesting problem. Only two players. Have more than two players. Multiple players. Each wants to benefit his profit and minimize the loss. How will they play the game and reach the equilibrium? Is Nash equilibrium. You read that, it's very interesting. So such problems are usually taken. And remember one thing. The way you set the criteria for the solution will largely determine how the final solution will look. Let me give an example. An example. Give a stupid example. You have to come to class. Right? That's a problem. Solutions possible. What are the benefits you will derive out of coming to class? You will get attendance. Maybe you will have some nice time with your friends. Maybe you will see someone special, whatever. No, one more advantage coming to class. Maybe finally you will get some knowledge. Last, prayers. The criteria. There was solution in the care. For example, if you just want attendance, solution may be different. Tell your friend to give proxy. That will fit. Solution number 2. Come to the class and sleep. Now if your criteria is getting attendance and having nice time, then that solution will fit. Solution number 3. Coming to the class and staying awake all the time is a solution which will pick only if you have certain criteria to meet. So what I am saying is, depending on the criteria which you want to satisfy, you will choose a solution that has a very huge impact. In fact, just off the topic. This is what we do as a matter of fact in astrology also. Many people question the validity of astrology. Today is Friday, therefore we can discuss. Friday matra jatkam. Other days I won't. Usually what we do in astrology is, we have can't set criteria. For example, if you ask me to match two horoscopes, what will any astrologer do? He will try to see whether certain criteria are met or not. Nothing is guaranteed. What we are saying is, this criteria is satisfied with these two horoscopes. That's what we say. And people always question whether astrology is science or not science. I always wonder, if this is science, following this process is science, nobody should have a doubt whether astrology is science or not. I don't know. Somebody, if you want to have an argument someday, I can bring 10 horoscopes and then explain how this actually works. Something else is coming to my mind. Let me explain. I am not lecturing advantage. In political science, choosing someone, let us consider election. There are various candidates who are in the fray and you have to select one. I have an innovative model. I haven't discussed this with everyone. Maybe people will feel this is stupid, but nevertheless, let me say this. I think our present electoral process can be refined to better reflect our choices. How do we make the choice today? There are 10 candidates. We say our positive votes. What we are saying? I want this candidate. We are saying that. What happens today because of this is, people have tried to isolate certain group of people. They will do an analysis. There are this many people. If I get the votes of this many people, whatever others may say, that's immaterial for me. That kind of thinking has come in the political scenario. I have got a solution to this problem. I will just explain. You may discuss this and see whether this will work or not. My solution is this. Solution should be easily implemented. We can't give some solution which is non-implementable. For example, there is a way. For example, preference votes. Preference votes. You give the preference votes to each candidate. This is my first preference, this is my second preference. But in India this is impossible. Because sometimes in assembly poll there will be 20, 25 candidates. So how many? This is impossible. So my solution is this. I am proposing a solution wherein you will have two buttons in your EVM. One green, one red. What every voter should do is, he has to register his positive vote and at the same time should register his negative vote. That is, I have to say, I want this person, but I definitely don't want this person. That will stop people from isolating few people. You know, you remember last election somebody said, I don't want the vote of certain people belonging to a certain religion. One leader made such a statement. No, people will not make that statement because if those group of people come together and press the negative vote, that person will lose. I will give an example. Supposedly, let us assume that there are 100 voters, 3 candidates, A, B and C. Scenario now. What is the scenario? A gets 45, B gets 35. How much is remaining? 4, 5, 7, 8, 20. This is the scenario now. Who will win? A will win. According to my model, see how it works. People have selected A, 45 people have elected A means 55 people have rejected A. Straightforward. 55 people have rejected A. Among these two, the votes are divided. So let us say, this always happens like this. If you take vote share and analyze, you will see that positive votes is actually roughly equal to the sum total of negative votes. It actually works out. Say among this votes are divided, so it looks like this. Is the power 20? 20, yeah. After pressing negative votes, this is the thing. So now according to this formula, the sum total of votes is 10. minus 10 plus 10. So who wins? B wins. B wins. According to me, this reform should come so that people who follow what we call as the middle path, not going to both the extremes, should win. So that we have given an option for people who support as well as dissent. Both are captured here. It is very simple to do this in EVM also. Not much changes are required. I don't know. People who are in top position should analyze this more and see whether it's practical or not. Maybe we may have to change our constitution to bring this amendment. But this is not totally actually, if you look at the work of before some 3 years, not 3 years, 4 years, I forget the name, 2005 or 6. Look at the work of 2005 or 6 Nobel laureate in economics. That person had worked on who should get the, if you call for a tender, who should be given that particular contract. He gave a formula. According to his formula, what is the present formula? The highest bidder will get it, right? That person said, not the first person, but the second highest bidder should get it, because they do it in a more realistic way. That work got him Nobel. What I am suggesting is simply this: provide a mechanism for people to take the right decision based on all possible criteria. I heard that there is an institute for election studies. Somebody, if you want to do your PG in statistics or something, you can go and see. Please carry my idea there. I don't have any copyright patent over this. Please carry this idea forward. I always had this idea in your next company.